Throughout the time of F1, there have been many incidents, some airborne, some just crashes, some insanely huge crashes. But today we are talking about specifically when F1 cars fly. And I'm specifically talking about 4 incidents. I went over a bunch of videos of F1 cars flying up into the air. But I chose 4 specific incidents that I actually measured the height of and came to a conclusion as to which of these was the biggest airborne moment in F1 history. Subscribe if you're new and please leave a like. It'd mean the world. Let's get into the video. Well, it starts off with a guy that many people should know and one of the most entertaining racers to ever exist, Kamui Kobayashi, in specifically the Monaco Grand Prix. As you guys saw in the thumbnail, this guy was levitating practically for a moment, and that he was. It's a very interesting looking crash. It happened right on turn 1 in Monaco. Of course, it happened in Monaco. The actual crash took out 4 different drivers. One was a favorite to win the race. Another was actually Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher, Roman Grosjean, Pastor Maldonado, the guy that's known for crashes, and Kamui Kobayashi all suffered damage from the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. And actually, Kobayashi could not continue after a failed restart after making a pit stop. So as you can see in this crash, it literally looks like the car is levitating for a moment, and it's a funny looking thing. I picked, by the way, for these 4 crashes that I picked, the height only goes up. You want to stay to the end to see how high an actual car flies up. There isn't anywhere that you can look up how high the cars actually went for each crash. Nobody actually takes those statistics. So I had to kind of figure out my own way of doing some of these crashes. You saw the 3 feet in the image in the thumbnail. It's actually just a teensy bit higher. F1 cars need to be 3.3 feet to be exact, and I'm using feet as the measurement. So one full F1 car actually fit exactly under Kamui Kobayashi to make it a 3.3 foot high-flying moment. And I am taking the bottom of the car, not the top, because if I was to take the top, it's kind of like cheating as to where the car is going. And using the bottom is a lot more effective for the type of thing I'm trying to go for in this type of video. So the first crash, first high-flying moment was 3.3 feet by Kamui Kobayashi. Now I know everybody knows the iconic Mark Webber flying crash. And this is what inspired me to actually make this video, because this is one of the only crashes that I know that is actually recorded when it comes to the height of the car at some point. And if you look it up, the height of the car was about at 2 meters. Which is a pretty insane height, but we are not taking the top. That is taking the top. If you take the bottom of the car, going off of length, the actual car just barely passed where Kamui Kobayashi went. Kamui was straight like this. Webber was looking up to the sky. So the crash is more insane, but the actual height of the crash was about the same as Kamui from the bottom of the car. So taking it from the bottom, it is at 3.6. It is just above Kamui's actual amount. It was an insane crash that happened. Mark just went for it and at 190 miles per hour crashed into Heikki Kovalainen in Lotus Renault. And still today, one of the most insane crashes, and I don't know how Mark Webber did not get hurt during this crash. It stands today to be one of the most insane moments in F1 where these cars just really show how safe they are, but and also high-flying moment. Now we are moving on from the actual typical F1 high flyers. We have an iconic moment also taken by the main Australian man, Mark Webber. I don't know how he survived these 2 crashes, but the dude came out flawless from both of them. I think this one is pretty iconic as to the way that the crash happened, and we are going up from what was 3.6 feet to a lot higher amount. So stay tuned to see where this is
at. Ablaze. Make sure the slower cars see them. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Mercedes has taken off.
For this crash, it was in the 1999 Le Mans in a Mercedes car, which was actually pretty favorited to win the Le Mans at that time. Mercedes was known for making amazing cars and beautiful looking ones at it, but not ones that did a full entire flip going over 10 feet up into the air. And this moment involved Mark Webber going over 10 feet.
Webber both had miraculous escapes. I couldn't get the front of the car back down at that speed, and I did flip and saw the sky on the ground and the sky on the ground, so it was a horrible experience.
Just looking at the image and watching the video of this is insanity. I cannot believe that the actual crash itself looked like this. Like, it looks like something out of a video game. It doesn't even look possible. But from what I read up online, the way that the car's aerodynamics worked on it and how light the car was, the way that it picked up under the floor, which we now have in Formula One, which is the underfloor as part of the regulations. Well, the way that the air picked up under the underfloor, it just caused the car to just flip while taking the hill. It's insanity. It is an insane looking crash. I can't believe it. But to tell you the height of it, how I measured this, I took an actual Le Mans car, which is at the height of 39.8 inches, which is equal to 3.3 feet. It took about 5.1-ish cars, Le Mans cars, to get to that height. So what does that equivalent to? It is 17.6 feet. I mean, imagine looking, that is the bottom of the car. I didn't take the top, that is the bottom of the car. So 17.6 feet off the ground. Now that is a ridiculous statistic, and I mean ridiculous statistic. So how Mark Webber survived a total of almost 20 feet up in the air, man, like, he is a very lucky guy to have survived both of these insane crashes. And guess what? Number 4 is actually bigger than 17.6 feet, and it is the highest, I think, that I recorded feet up in the air from any car. And it is a Formula car, but not an F1 car, an F3 car.
Hello, Anthony, Paul, Karun, everybody. Yep, the paddock here in Monza, the best of the season, it has to be said. The beautiful people here passing around.
This crash happened in 2019 at Monza due to the FIA being stupid. Honestly, stupid. They did not want to take out the curb that was in the Parabolica in Monza, and this is what happens. This crash, to me, is like the most insane looking picture. And the picture I have up on the screen, when I saw this video for the first time, I was in disbelief that a car could actually get up to this height. And just to give you reference as to how I measured this, the actual fencing on the outside that you see in Monza, from everything that I've looked up so far, is 6 meters tall. 6 meters equates to 19 feet. 19 feet. So that's like 3 of me. 19 feet up, it was higher than this. The actual image itself, it's just barely higher than the actual fencing. And the car actually lands in between the actual fencing and the way that the pit wall looked. It is a ridiculous crash. And at just about 20.3 feet, the car hit 20.3 feet. I mean, that is an insane... I could just imagine how it looked while he was in the cockpit and he's just like, well, this is it. I mean, the actual height and the way that the car is just flying throughout the air, I mean, it's just a... Thank God the guy came out alive. Alex Peroni, how he came out alive is beyond me. He did come out with a little bit of damage. It wasn't as serious. It was some vertebrae that were hurt, but it wasn't like a broken back or broken neck or anything of that sort. It was just an insane high-flying crash and takes the #1 spot in this video. How did you guys enjoy this? I looked through a lot of crashes, and these were the 4 that really stood out to me because you need to have like a, I guess, even seeing the Mark Webber crash and then comparing it to what Alex Peroni did in his crash in F3, it just gives you like retrospect as to how high these cars actually can fly in these races. Car even hitting 20 feet is an insane milestone by any sort. So it was an insane crash, and I cannot believe that it actually happened. Please leave your thoughts down below. Please leave a like. It would mean the world. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.